Hey folks, my name's Chris from Christchurch, punk alt rock band The Snake Behaviour. I had the honour of speaking at this event today. I would have loved to have been there in person, and actually the band would have loved to play as well. But I had the honour of speaking after talking to Josh backstage when his band Fight for Glory played recently in Christchurch. What an honour, firstly, to be part of it, and also massive kudos to Josh and the team putting the Big Korero together. It's important and wonderful that so many young people are coming together in the name of mental health. So my story, just real quickly, I won't bore you with it, but basically I'm going to talk to you about a couple of the, traumatic things that happened in my time or my life throughout my early 20s and my teens. And how that affected me later in life and how I hadn't really seen it. So it was never really, it's not depression in the sense of depression, but it's more around anxiety, how that caused, and some things that I do now to tell myself that I don't have it as bad as what I might think I might when I was in that position. And also, I guess, what the band has to do with that as well. So my story very quickly is in 1997, my mother passed away a couple of weeks before my 14th birthday. And 5 years later, 2002, my father also passed away of motor neurone disease. Then I was sort of trapped in Nelson while all my friends were going away and going to uni and things like that. And then I had another friend die on me while we were in Nelson of cancer. I also then came and found my grandmother had a stroke, and I then had to organise the funeral and stuff for that. And then I got in a long-term relationship which broke up, and as they do sometimes when you're young, turned bad and broke up, and that really hit me hard. So I moved to Christchurch, picked up all my stuff, moved to Christchurch thinking I needed a new start, but got in a bad flat down here too with people that weren't particularly helpful for my mental health. Then moved out to a place in Kaiapoi where I managed to sort of rent off charity family friends. So by then I had let my kind of zest for life, I guess, go a little bit. I was very down. I was thinking that everything was my fault. I was the reason all these people were dying, and maybe it would be better that one of these days it was me that was taken by terminal illness or something instead of those people. At least that would destroy the burden, right? Or the omen, as I used to think I was. But skip forward a little bit. While I was at that friend's rental house of mine, I came home one day and they had stuck up a bunch of cheap suits on the mezzanine that hung above us. Now, I was never going to use those suits, and they knew that. But what it was they were trying to symbolise and tell me that they were close friends, and they had realised that something had changed. I'd lost my zest for life. I wasn't outgoing anymore, and I wasn't happy, and I wasn't going outdoors and doing the things I loved. Instead, I was staying indoors. It was just me and my dog. I wasn't doing anything about anything, and I was just basically giving up. And what that taught me when I saw those suits is that they told me that I was better than that, and I could be someone. So I went and got a job. At that job, I then met my wife. I got another job. I then got long-awaited inheritances from my parents and things like that I mentioned earlier, and life seemed a lot better. And it's a bit funny being literally the picture of privilege here, white, nearly middle-aged, scarily enough, talking to you about what's gone on in my life. And so there's a couple of things that I want to address. First of all, your mental health can be affected by your context, but also by your attitude. So it was, in some ways, easier for me. I had strong support networks. I had family friends who were very close to us that all took me, my brother and sister, on board and under our wings and let us stay in places and always gave us what we needed and treated us like a son or the daughter that, they wanted or that we were to our parents, and did a lot for us. I was very lucky. In many places, in most contexts, people don't have that. People don't have those support networks, and if it is their parents, they don't necessarily have the best parents in the world or the best relationship with those parents. So I was lucky from that point of view. One of the things that happened to me, though, is that I also began to notice some post-traumatic stress disorder, you could say. So I was never really depressed as such, but what it was it had taken a huge toll on my anxiety. And I wrote a song as part of the band a couple of years ago called Reaper, And during the process of that song, I decided to come out on Facebook and say what it was all about. So I did that, and the reaction to that was huge. And then I spoke in front of Mike King at my work as well about what happened. So that song was about literally falling to sleep with my fingers crossed, which I'd done for years and years and years throughout my early 20s, because I was also worried that if I had a chest complaint, or if I had a cold or something, that was actually going to end up in me dying overnight. And I'd literally cross my fingers like this under the pillow to hope that I woke up the next morning. And obviously I did. Now, during the writing process of Reaper, I restarted that process because as a writer, I go back into that space that I was in. And I started doing that behaviour again while I was writing about that exact thing. Seeing the Reaper in my dreams and all of that stuff. So I had to come up with some ways of doing that. And I learned to contextualise things. I learned to contextualise that even though I think that, I might be scared that maybe I'll die young or whatever, actually, I can't do anything about that. So I may as well enjoy the time I've got. And instead, if it's not going to be that long, I may as well take every second of life that I can and do something with it. Do something for good. Do something that makes other people happy. Try and change other people's lives. Open up. Talk about this sort of thing. Do the things that I love, going to the beach and that sort of thing. So it's contextualised. And the other part of it was looking at my problems in context. And as I sort of alluded to earlier in the video, I live in New Zealand. I have always had food on my table. I've always had shoes on my feet. I've always gone to school. I've always been able to get a job. I've always had paid favours, probably partly because of, to be fair, if you want to get political on it, some things like the colour of my skin or whatever, but also because we live in New Zealand. And my thing around that was learning to contextualise it, go, what I'm going through, hundreds and thousands of other people are going through. There might be people, my next door neighbour might be going through the same thing, except they don't have the same support network that I did. So I'd contextualise things and I'd go, well, maybe it's not as bad as it seems. Maybe actually just because this person's broken up with me, or just because I didn't get that job or whatever, actually something bigger is around the corner. So I learned to do that. I also learned that one of the most relaxing things for me was revisiting the things that I loved the most and the things that I remember the most about my parents, which, being from Nelson, is the sea and the beach. So I basically started visiting the beach every week, and now it's a thing that I do for band prep before every big show, the chaos of the shows, and the prep before them and that. On the day of the show, I'll head down to the beach, rain, hail or shine, and I'll just have a quick walk or throw the ball around or take the dogs or something like that. And that centres me, it recenters me and it calms me, and what it does is it reminds me, I guess, of my place in the cosmos, but in a good way. So not that I'm not anyone, or not that I'm no one, or anything like that, but it allows me to provide that context I talked about in going, I'm one little person of 7 billion, 8 billion people, all going through the same thing. And this is a massive world. It's beautiful. This is the stuff that I'm looking at. I'm sitting at the beach on a sunrise, looking at the sun come up, over the waves, and nature at its very best. And I'm sitting there feeling calmer and calmer and calmer. And then I try and turn that into helping other people. So we got heavily involved in things like dog rescue, looking after homeless people, things like that. And my band has always had something to say. We've always had a message around standing up for the underdog. And a lot of that is because by helping and sharing, it makes someone else feel better too. And for me, it is more around the personal worth that I get from helping isn't so much about making me feel better, it's about making that person feel good, which then makes me feel good. So it's not about me doing something with my life or anything like that. It's about me seeing that person smile and go, hey, I managed to achieve. That person was in a dark place and now they've got a job, or they've got whatever their goal is, their success is. So I guess 10 minutes isn't really enough time to get to what I was going to say, but I think what I really want you to take out of this is that everybody goes through some hard stuff in their time. And anxiety can be really hard. But what you've got to do is you've got to back yourself and open up and talk to people wherever you can. Don't be afraid. It's normal. It's completely normal. Don't be afraid. Don't hold it in, because that ends up in sort of a worse situation, I guess. So if you can talk to someone about it, maybe they can give you some ideas. You contextualize things. So you go, hey, look, if I'm walking out on stage and I'm petrified, we supported the dead Kennedys earlier in 2018. I was petrified, but my bandmates got behind me. They said, no, you can do it. I walked out in front of 1,000 people when we performed a great show. So you do things like that, you talk about it and you go, hey, if the worst thing that happened that day is that it went badly, well, I was still alive and I knew none of the 1,000 people there, right? So it is what it is. It's about contextualizing for me, and it's about tuning my energies or channeling my negative energies into positive thoughts. Things like helping, getting involved with streetwise appeals and things like that, for the homeless and dog things, and picking up rubbish and getting involved in environmental things. So for me, that was a massive help. For you, it could be completely different, but I think the whole point is I just plead with you, if you're in any sort of state of unrest within your mental well-being, just have a chat to someone. Share. Don't be afraid. We're all here to listen. I'm always here to listen. There'll be a couple of links at the bottom of the video. You can read my stuff at the Atrium of Anarchy on Facebook, which is where I talk about my mental health and my story with that. Or you can visit our band page at www.facebook.com/TSBNZ. There's also a lot of stuff on there about that as well. So awesome. Thanks a lot. Enjoy the rest of the Big Korero and get amongst the awesome acts, the awesome speakers, and hopefully take something out of today.